of all, I have to thank Omix Group for the opportunity to be here with you in Chicago. I have to be honest, this is my first participation as a speaker in an international congress, so I hope you will understand my emotion. Okay, I'm Francesco Lapolla. I'm resident in general surgery at the University of Foggia, south of Italy. I will talk about acute pancreatitis and severe acute pancreatitis in diabetic patients. What kind of connection? Well, when I started to study for this presentation, I had one day an idea. The paradox of the egg or the chicken represented very well what we can find actually in the literature. What kind first, the diabetes or the pancreatitis? Of course, I can't give you the answer for both of the questions. This is what we are talking about. I will give more explanation of the literature, only to notice that we have a lot of papers which talk about this relation between acute pancreatitis and diabetes, in particular type 2 diabetes. This is nothing new. German professor Korte in 1911, so more than 100 centuries ago, first wrote about the potential connection between acute pancreatitis and diabetes. The important thing to notice is that the authors of those papers are all of different areas of medicine. We have gastroenterologists, we have anesthesiologists, we have surgeons like me, like us. So there are many points of view regarding this relation. This relation that I imagine like a soap opera, the most important beauty in the States. So we have the protagonist of this complicated relationship. We have type 2 diabetes, we have obesity, we have dyslipidemia, we have, of course, gallbladder disease, cholelithiasis. We have the use of antidiabetic drugs, in particular incretin-based drugs. And, of course, we know that they are all well connected, and this is more established very well than the direct connection that there is between diabetes and acute pancreatitis. But if we read the conclusions of many papers, we can find that there is a threefold increase in the risk of acute pancreatitis among diabetic patients. Also, it is not clear why. The aims of our study is to evaluate among the patients admitted at our unit for acute pancreatitis the percentage of diabetic patients, and to find a potential connection between the worst evolution of acute pancreatitis and diabetes, evaluating the prevalence of diabetes among every acute pancreatitis severity criteria. This is our experience. We are a general surgery unit. We collected from September 1997 to December 2011, 267 acute pancreatitis. To notice that we have set the totally biliary etiology. This may be a bias for this work because we have eliminated all the alcoholic etiology because we are a surgery unit, so we don't have alcoholic pancreatitis in our unit. 216 mild moderate acute pancreatitis and 60 severe acute pancreatitis. Among these severe, we had 13 ASAP, with an early implication of a general condition. ASAP is early severe acute pancreatitis. So, what we did? Searching for diabetic patients in our three groups of acute pancreatitis totally, severe acute pancreatitis, early severe acute pancreatitis, and early severe acute pancreatitis. We can see that the prevalence of diabetes in our patients with acute biliary pancreatitis was 19.5%, and it increases to 38.4% in the patients with an early severe form of pancreatitis. Chi-square was performed on this data, and it shows a statistically significant increase. Furthermore, we evaluated the prevalence of the diabetes by severity criteria, usually used to define severe or early severe form of pancreatitis. In this table is shown the data of our patients divided by severity criteria, and next we searched for diabetics among them. The results are that there is an increase of prevalence of diabetes among the patients who had the worst evolution of the pancreatitis. In particular, this correlation regards, in our experience, the manifestation of MODS, single organ dysfunction, and hypoxemia. The pancreatic sepsis, it seems to be not strongly correlated to the diabetic condition. So, what is our point of view? Data of our experience confirms that the prevalence of diabetic patients in acute pancreatitis, and there is an important result that is regarding MODS, hypoxemia, and the single organ dysfunction. That is in the first phase of the disease, the pancreatic disease. We have that the prevalence of diabetes in the second phase of the disease, the phase of septic complication, is not so much important. We believe that the different impact of diabetic conditions is more effective at the start of the pancreatic disease with possible organ dysfunction, while in the late phase, the best pharmacological control during the hospitalization may have less effect on possible septic complication. Of course, I used a picture of a tower of Pisa in Italy because there is a problem of perspective. We have our view on a very various pathology, which is the pancreatitis. It is a very various pathology, not only by the severity of the pancreatitis, but also by the demographic distribution. Of course, in our experience, south of Italy, we had, in the surgery, we had only biliary etiology, which is more connected, of course, to diabetes. Alcoholic etiology, we don't have answers for the alcoholic etiology. So, conclusion. Active pancreatitis in type 2 diabetes is higher, threefold risk increase than in non-diabetic. There is a worse evolution for acute pancreatitis in diabetic patients, in particular manifestation of MODS, hypoxemia, and single organ dysfunction, and it is therefore necessary the full awareness of the elevated risk for acute pancreatitis in the type 2 diabetes patients, in particular the ones with previous pancreatitis attacks. I thank you again for attention, and I hope to see you